Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. I am blooming as a flower. I am fresh as the dew. I am solid as the mountain. I am firm as the earth. I am free. Let's try that verse once more. Okay. Breathing in.
Please sing louder.
Breathing
together with us.
Breathing in, breathing out. I am blooming as a flower. I am fresh as the dew. I am solid as a mountain. I am firm as the earth. I am free. Breathing. Now we're going to go to the second verse. Breathing in, breathing out, the same. And then water. I am water, reflecting. So with this calmness that we get as we settle down, we feel very still, like a lake of water that can reflect everything. So like a mirror pond, reflecting the clouds and the beautiful mountains. And so we reflect very, very in touch with how we are in our calm state. So that's the meaning of visualizing water reflecting. And then I am water reflecting what is real, what is true, what is real and what is true for us. And then the last visualization is I see myself as space. I am space, and I feel free. How does it go? And I feel that there is space inside of me. I am free. I am free. Okay. So, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. I am water reflecting what is real, what is true. Breathing, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. I am water reflecting what is real, what is true. And I feel there is space deep inside of me. I am free.
I am free.
As I breathe in, I feel my in-breath. As I'm breathing out, I feel my out breath. In, out. As I'm breathing in, I am aware of this present moment. As I am breathing out, I relax into this moment. Aware, relax.
Welcome, dear friends. It's wonderful to have so many educators in this room, people who offer their wisdom and their teachings to the next generation of our country and the next generation of the world. We are very grateful to Thich Nhat Hanh, who has come from France with many of his students, his monastic students, about 30 of them who you've been actually singing with and meditating with. Many of them are teachers in their own rights. And all of us are really students of Thich Nhat Hanh, who has taught us a way not only to live mindfully, but to be free from concepts, ideas, grasping, trying to be free from our internal afflictions like anger, or at least reduce the amount of anger in us, the jealousy we have. And when I met Thich Nhat Hanh 20 years ago, I was a very angry peace activist. I was fighting for peace. I thought I was trying to make peace in the world, but I realized that actually I was part of the problem. I had a lot of anger in me. And when I met Thich Nhat Hanh, he allowed me to really touch peace, to understand it and to realize it in a very real way, not just as an idea, which is what I was fighting for, but to really touch that peace. And once I touched it, I knew I could re-touch that again and again and again with the right practice. And what Thich Nhat Hanh did for me was gave me a path, a stairway in a way, a path to practice. I really hope I'd learned that as a child. I wouldn't have wasted 30 years of angst in my life. I hope I'd learned how to have that sort of internal management, the way of understanding my emotions, understanding my body, understanding my mental formations, different types of ideas, and see them for what they are, see the impermanent nature of them, see that I am not just me, but I'm part of a whole. These sort of things have helped me later, and I really hope that as a child I'd learned these things. So when we heard that Thich Nhat Hanh was coming to India, being invited by the government of India to deliver the Gandhi Memorial Lecture, we requested him to start his whole program in India with this retreat for educators. There's been a lot of pressure on us. He's going to be addressing Parliament, he's going to be with the corporate sector, he's going to be with... In fact, the parliamentarians asked for a day and a half. We said, no, it's the educators who get 4 days. This is our priority. When we met Thich Nhat Hanh a year ago in Thailand, he said his dream, or his real dream, is to bring mindfulness into education. And we want to step in that direction. And this is only a start for that. But he only guides, and as he often was saying yesterday at the press conference, he will only give us the finger. But the moon we have to look at, and we shouldn't get caught in the finger. So Thai is a teacher who allows us, shows us the path, then we have to walk it. And once we walk it, we can share with other teachers. As teachers, we can teach others. Otherwise, it's just learnt knowledge which we are not, or just mental constructs we are making. I don't want to go very long, but I just want to introduce, to an extent, the people who've made this possible, this whole event possible. I would, first of all, really like to thank, besides Thai and the brothers and sisters who've come from all around the world, not just Plum Village in France, but America, Vietnam, Germany. We have centers in different places. I would like to thank the volunteers who've made this possible. People have been working all day and night, making this possible, and we've tried to provide it in a way which is accessible to teachers in India, charging 500 rupees, 250 rupees, or free. We want people to be here. This is a process of transformation for this country, and I believe that. So the volunteers are my first thank you. I would really like to thank the governor for agreeing to be the guest of honor. He has been, I met him a few months ago in his garden. It is wonderful, the governor's garden. You have a meeting, sitting under a tent in the garden, and we had a discussion exactly on this, on our understanding between Vedanta and the Buddha Dharma. Where do they meet, and how do we realize, how do we come to realization through these two practices? And I enjoyed our little discussion, and it was very illuminating for me, and he's a very learned man, and I think that's why he was inclined to come here. We'd left some books, and he felt, it would be very nice for him to meet Thai, and I felt it would be very nice for Thai to meet Governor Joshi. And he's also been the Lieutenant Governor in Delhi. He's also involved with a lot of education and social work, so we're very grateful to have him. And the person who really made this happen to some degree is Analjit Singh, who is the chairman of the board of the Doon School, but also the head of Max India. And I was very keen that we had this program in the Doon School, my old school. I felt this is where, if I had learned these things, I would have hopefully been a slightly easier person. And Analjit and I met at a dinner, and he said, my real interest is to bring spirituality into education. And I said, wow. So I'd already been sort of knocking at the door of Kanti, our other friend here, our co-collaborator in this, Kanti, the headmaster of the Doon School, Kanti Bajpai. And Kanti was very skeptical about the whole thing, saying, But slowly, I think we talked to him, other friends talked to him, and I'm really happy that Kanti has agreed as the Doon School to host this. So this collaboration has taken this sort of little, it's becoming a bit like a flower, like a lotus which opens slowly. And Arun Kapoor, we had gone to Thailand together last year when we met Thich Nhat Hanh, and when we had this discussion about bringing mindfulness into education as something which Thai would like in his life, and something which not only in his life, but something as a continuation. as part of what he has offered to us in this world. And Thai, of course, himself is a continuation, Thich Nhat Hanh. We call it Thich Nhat Hanh Thai. Thai just means teacher. Many people don't know what Thich Nhat Hanh, how to pronounce it, so Thai is easy. So Thai is fine. You don't have to put your mouth around Thich Nhat Hanh. But when Arun and I talked about it, we said, let's do it. And Arun has also been a teacher in the school. So in a way, the Doon School became the natural place for this program. I think it's probably enough on that sense. I just feel that we have an opportunity right now to not only listen attentively, but to practice something. It is not knowledge that we are only gleaning. But as Thich Nhat Hanh often says, when you hear the Dhamma, it's like the rain falling on our store consciousness. And some things will sprout. So we don't have to be trying to catch every word, every note. We let that, the teachings and the practice, penetrate into us. And if we do it with sincerity, we will see the result. And once we see the result, we can practice again. So I think what we've also tried to do a little bit is, as a Himsa Trust, we are very keen on bringing mindfulness into education. Some of the sisters and brothers of Plum Village have put together some of these writings. They are preliminary writings. They were not ready for a book. But we requested them to allow us to print it as a book so that we could actually offer it to everyone here. These are ideas and practices that people have tried. Many of the nuns and monks here have done exactly this, and some of the lay brothers and sisters. And this is a work in progress. After this, or when you have ideas, please send them to us, and this book will hopefully become many volumes. And from an Indian perspective, we would like to develop a book like this one day, which will really give children in India a way of practicing mindfulness. I think that's probably all I'd say. I'm sure I've forgotten a few things, and please excuse me if I have. But again, I'd like to thank everyone, really. I think everyone has made a lot of effort to come here. It takes time, it takes planning, it takes a lot of effort. So thank you so much. And I'm sorry if there's any shortfalls from our side as organizers. I know that accommodation isn't always the best. We're very lucky that the food and a lot of the sound systems and everything have been donated by Max India, but we've got a lot of support from the different schools and institutions who've given us accommodation, some of them free of cost, some of them at very subsidized rates. So we've made this possible. So if any shortfalls, please excuse us and know that we are doing our best. Thank you. I'd like to please invite the headmaster of the Doon School, Dr. Kanti Bajpai.
Shantam, thanks. The Governor of Uttarakhand, Shri B.L. Joshi, Thich Nhat Hanh, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Doon School, let me welcome you to this four-day workshop titled Towards a Compassionate and Healthy Society, to be led by Thich Nhat Hanh and his friends. It's a great privilege to have Thich Nhat Hanh here. Thich Nhat Hanh is a great scholar and teacher and an apostle of peace. And I know that this workshop is going to be a landmark event in Indian school education. The role of a teacher is not a mechanical one. I think we all know that. A role that's restricted to teaching the usual arts and sciences. The teacher must communicate the wonder of the world, ask questions, inspire critical inquiry, set an example, and encourage us to think about values and principles and practices. Being a teacher is not easy. To teach means to be whole, to know oneself, to meditate on what we do, to understand what it is to be a student, and to learn. To be mindful, in other words. We teach in troubled times. Wherever we look in the world around us, we see conflict, strife, and violence. How shall we teach in these times? How shall we as teachers come to work every day and do our jobs when there are tensions and pressures all around us? The expectations about teachers have grown enormously. I think all of you in this room can attest to that. The public, our political leaders, the media, and of course parents ask us a lot of questions about what we're doing. Indeed, those we teach ask us a lot of penetrating questions about what we're doing. Young minds increasingly are loaded with ambitions and desires. This makes the environment in which we teach a very challenging one. The teacher is a person asked by society to cultivate the powers of the mind, to use reason and our other faculties to understand the world and our lives in the world. That is an enormous responsibility, and all of you have experienced the excitement and the joy of that responsibility. I don't know Thich Nhat Hanh yet very well. I've just met him for a few minutes. But reading about him and reading things that he has written, I can think of no one better than he, himself a teacher and thinker and a man of peace and compassion, to lead this teacher's retreat and to get us to reflect on our lives, our vocation, and our responsibilities in creative ways. In closing, may I also render a few thanks to Shantam Seth and the Ahimsa Trust for coming to the Doon School with the idea of holding the retreat, and for all their help and getting skeptics like me to put our shoulders to the wheel and our minds to this event. I also want to thank Arun Kapoor and Aniljeet Singh for their considerable support. It's been absolutely vital all through the process. And thanks to all of you for coming here. I've been a teacher for a long time myself, but I've never seen so many teachers in one place. I think we may have 500 of you, and it's a wonderful sight to see so much brain power and compassion and thought about what we're going to teach the next generation all assembled here. I just want to end with quite a fortuitous, circumstantial thing that you may or may not have noticed. In this little triangular garden, just outside the auditorium, there's a statue of, I think, 3 people with their hands up in the air, all linked. This was a statue done in 1960 by 2 or 3 old boys of the school, and recently we figured out who did the statue and put a little plaque up. And that statue is called, I think appropriate to what's going to happen here over the next 4 days, it's called Give Peace a Chance. So with that, welcome here to the Doon School. I hope your stay is pleasant. Let's all enjoy it.
Honorable Governor Shri B.L. Joshi ji, Venerable Thai, let me add my welcome to you and other distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, to the Doon School on behalf of the Board of Governors, and welcome to you, Shantam and Arun. It's sometimes said, life is not about you, you are about life, embrace it. And we certainly believe that's the truth, but somehow that's never taught to us. We come to school, primary, secondary, tertiary education. We go through a whole lifespan of teaching, but that's never taught to us how to embrace life and what life is really all about, the 5 elements, whatever. And it's a very complex question on the platform for a school like ours, or a venue like this, because in a multi-ethnic, multi-religious, multi-society that we are all about, how can we deliver such a message or a teaching without it being construed as being, in some way being construed anti-secular? And of course, for our country, there's no better recipe than to be and believe in being secular. But it's uncanny that this subject is never taught. And we go through a whole lifetime, unless you are lucky like we are this evening to get the opportunity to hear a spiritual leader like Venerable Thai to share his views, educate us, and teach us in the short span of 2 or 3 or 4 days that he'll be with us. So I think of his presence here as a true blessing, certainly for myself, and I hope you share that feeling and sentiment. The Honorable Governor who's here, for me, is really here more as Shri B.L. Joshi. If you spend 10 or 15 minutes with him, he embraces completely the word compassionate and society. In few minutes, you can tell he's a sympathetic person, a compassionate person, a loving person, a person who's always thinking for society and communal good. So I again think of that as a blessing that at this time, that Joshi Saab should be the governor of Uttarakhand and give us the pleasure and the honor of having him with us this evening. So on that note, welcome you all. As Askanti said, that we have a full school. It's a school night, a school day for the next 3 days. And in that, we've tried to do the best we can to host you at the Doon School. And I hope you will take back at least one learning from the 4 days that you're here. So on that, a pleasant stay. And thank you, sir, for being with us. And to Venerable Thai, welcome from all of us, from India, from Dehradun, from the Doon School, and all of us here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Thich Nhat Hanh has written books for children. In the retreats that we hold in Plum Village, we always have children. It's interesting that we have a retreat for educators without children. It is partly, for various reasons we did that, but Plum Village or the center, retreat center, always have children, and many of those teachings are for children. Thich Nhat Hanh always starts his talks for 20 minutes for children first. Out of that has come a few books, and one of them is called A Pebble for Your Pocket, which is being released today by the governor. It's going to be presented by Mr. Goel of Full Circle. Please, this is the Indian edition of A Pebble for Your Pocket. You may want to open it, sir. शायद मुझे पहले ही कहना चाहिए था कि जो लोग हिंदी में जिनको हिंदी में ज़्यादा आसानी है तो बाहर हिंदी का अनुवाद हो रहा है, तो अगर आपको मुश्किल हो रही है कि अंग्रेज़ी में समझने में, तब हमारे एक इंटरप्रेटर हैं जो हिंदी में कर रहे हैं बाहर. यहाँ से बाहर स्क्रीन भी है और वहाँ पर आप देख भी सकते हैं, और तब हिंदी में साइमल्टेनियस ट्रांसलेशन हो रहा है. I would like to invite His Excellency, the Governor of Uttarakhand, to please deliver his inaugural address. Thank you.
Okay. Chairman of the Board of Trustees of this school, my friend Mr. Analjit Singh. Also, Analjit, of course, is chairman of a very big group of business. And for him to find time to visit us. It is a pleasure. We have with us a most distinguished spiritual leader, Thai Nath Khan. His presence here makes it a special occasion. Kanti Bajpai, headmaster of this most prestigious school, Shantanum Seth of Ahimsa Trust, Sri Arun Kapoor, director, Vasant Valley School in New Delhi, as I mentioned just now, the occasion is special not because the governor is here, not because it's in such a prestigious school. The occasion is special because we are welcoming a great spiritual leader of the stature of Thich Nhat Hanh, who is a Zen master, a peacemaker, a poet, a scholar, and a philosopher, who has dedicated his life to spreading the message of understanding and compassion through the practice of mindful living. My friend Analjit attributed these virtues in me also, which is a very difficult challenge to meet. It is said in the presence of a saint, all the praise should be aimed towards him. So we really should be aiming those great qualities in the spiritual leader who is present with us, Thai. You will be very lucky here in another way that he will be with you for 3 days here. Is that 3 days here? And he will be in India for a little longer time. So we all are very fortunate that in some way or the other, we will have the privilege of listening to him or knowing what he is saying. Thai Han urges all of us to live mindfully at every moment. I will emphasize both the words, mindfully and every moment. Lord Buddha, in his teachings, always emphasized on the moment, to live now. Thai's teachings include simple and yet deeply effective meditating practices which can be used in daily life to enhance joy and alleviate suffering. In an age when people are beset with worries and anxieties, these practices provide ways of easing tensions and generating happiness. Just as the heat of fire is not created by someone else. It is the very nature of fire to be hot. And just as the nature of water is to be wet, so there is something called consciousness or mind, on the basis of which we have feelings of pleasure and pain. It is clear that everyone seeks happiness and shuns suffering. This happiness that we seek originates from our own mind. Therefore, it is important to identify the nature of the mind and the processes by which we can train and transform this mind. In fact, a transformation of the mind can be brought about only the mind itself. Thai Nath Han's teaching is based on conscious breathing and being fully aware of the present moment. I mentioned a moment ago, that is what Lord Buddha also preached. That is the only moment in which we really live and in which real joy is possible. That is why Lord Buddha had said once, you cannot take bath in the same river twice. It is that moment which is gone, with the river flowing away, the time changing and everything else changing. So you have to learn to live in the present. A similar thought I chanced to see in the book of famous author Eckhart Tolle, who explains that in his bestseller book, The Power of Now, and I quote from that, on another level, I speak of a profound transformation of human consciousness, not as a distant future possibility, but available now, no matter who you are or where you are, unquote. As I listen to and think about the philosophy of Lord Buddha, fortunately I had the chance to study that philosophy as a student, I find it remarkable that what he taught more than 2,500 years ago is still equally relevant for us. Inspired by the awakening mind, which is more concerned for others than for himself, Buddha worked to accomplish the welfare of other human beings. And when he did that, and a great master he became, there was not a trace of ego in him. He always said, I can only show you the paths. You all have to be choosing the path and becoming Buddha in your own turn. Because what I took as my path may not be the best path that you can take. Even after attaining enlightenment, it was the force of altruism that led him to turn the wheel of dharma. So the underlying theme of Buddhism is to be helpful to others. As His Holiness Dalai Lama says, and I quote, when we help others generate virtue in their hearts, make them happy and their lives meaningful, that is a true service to the Buddha and his doctrine. We need to be diligent and direct and put in our best efforts this way. This, I believe, is how to fulfill the others' welfare as well as one's own, unquote. By focusing on the welfare of others, that this is exactly what Thai Nhat Hanh is striving to achieve. His spiritual practice is not disconnected from the real world, and it is not confined merely to the meditation centers. Rather, his methods and practices have been called engaged Buddhism, which are particularly relevant for social activists and public servants, as they are for all of us. He has shown the need for public service professionals to cultivate their own inner peace in order to be able to help others. I read the sign, peace in oneself, peace in the world. How beautifully said. The awakening mind is the root of all peace and happiness. The more we are able to develop an altruistic attitude, the happier we feel, and the better the atmosphere we will create around us. On the other hand, unstable emotions would disturb not only our own state of mind, but also the minds of others. Such uneasy feelings cannot be blamed on someone else. They are the result of our own state of mind. This retreat for educators is a wonderful way of bringing mind training and mindfulness into education. Teachers are the conscience keepers of our society, and it is important that they learn to transform negative emotions into positive energy and stay peaceful and calm so that they are able to create a more compassionate environment in their schools and make their wards learn that. This book, A Fable for Your Pocket, and the Manual for Teachers contain a treasure trove of methods and experiences in mindful education. I am sure that the teachers participating in this retreat would immensely benefit from their interaction with this great spiritual leader who is present with us today. I look forward to listening to this great living master and hopefully learning from him. I'd like to conclude with a brief quote from a piece written by Geshe Langri Thangpa in the 11th century AD in his 8 verses for training the mind. And I quote, "When others out of envy treat me badly, with abuse, slander and the like, I'll learn to take all loss and offer the victory to them. When the one whom I have benefited with great hope hurts me very badly and without reason, I'll learn to view that person as an excellent spiritual guide. In short, I'll learn to offer to everyone without exception all help and happiness directly and indirectly, and respectfully take upon myself all harm and suffering of my mothers." It's a beautiful thought, and I'm sure you'll have many, many more pearls of wisdom from the great Swami who is with us today. And this is school, I must congratulate you for your decision, the principal and the trustees of the board, to having brought this occasion and brought this great saint to Dehradun. Thank you very much.
May I take this opportunity to tell you that we have made arrangements for a simultaneous translation from English to Hindi. Thai, Thich Nhat Hanh, affectionately known as Thai, will be speaking in English. And hence, we are having a translation in Hindi, which is going to be available in the dining area outside. We have 3 plasma screens for clear visibility. If anybody would like to hear the Hindi translation, would they please go out of the door on my left, and we have a seating arrangement, chairs, and the translation in Hindi. Thank you. मैं आपको हिंदी में भी बताना चाहती हूँ कि हमने हिंदी में ट्रांसलेशन करवाई है और आप जो थिक नथ हान जी हिंदी इंग्लिश में बोलेंगे और वो ट्रांसलेशन बाहर डाइनिंग हॉल एरिया में आपको वेरी
freedom from all kind of afflictions. All of us are invited to sit relaxingly and allow the collective energy of mindfulness to penetrate into our body. Maybe there is some tension, stress, and pain in our body. And if we can be truly present in the here and the now, and allow our body to relax, and then the collective energy of the Sangha will be able to penetrate, embrace, and release that tension and that pain. If we have some sorrow, some pain, some despair within our heart, we might like to open our heart so that the energy of compassion, the energy of mindfulness can penetrate and hold dearly that energy of pain and sorrow and despair, and we can get a relief after a few minutes. If we have someone who is close to us, who suffers now and who cannot come, we might also like to channel this energy to him or to her by just thinking of that person, or calling him or her by the name. And this energy of the Sangha will go right to that person, and at home that person will feel better. We don't have to do anything, just allow ourselves to be fully present. We might like to bring our attention to our in breath and out breath. Enjoy breathing in, enjoy breathing out, and allow the energy of healing and transformation to penetrate into our body and into our heart.